Yo, happy May 4th to everyone. Welcome back to the Rule of Two. Marc, what's going on? Happy May 4th, buddy.
Happy May the 4th, buddy. It's been a little bit bittersweet for me today, to be honest with you. That's why I'm wearing the Dolphins hat. So when I was growing up, Don Shula was the coach of the Miami Dolphins, and he died today.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry
this
to
is
hear that.
and this is kind of like my surrogate father. I mean, not that I ever met the guy or anything, but like,
No, there's people you look up to. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when George one day goes.
yeah, yeah. God forbid,
God
knock on
forbid, man.
wood.
He's here for another
Yeah,
100
yeah.
years.
Yeah, but yeah, so today Don Shula, the guy I grew up with watching as the Dolphins head football coach passed away. So it's like this 2020 is just like
It's an interesting
even
year.
yeah, even May the 4th they managed to mess it up for me.
That sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
So anyway, I got the hat on. So shout
Representing,
out
yeah.
to Don Shula in the Miami Dolphin family, and I know it's a tough one out there for everybody, but I mean, look, we're here to celebrate Star Wars. Um, I absolutely loved that final episode. I loved that final four episode arc. I'm sure we're gonna get into it. But what were some of your thoughts?
I loved it too. I gave my thoughts on the watch along last night for everyone who was there. It was pretty wild. There were like over 8,000 people consecutively, consistently, and it was a really interesting episode in the fact that a lot of us, even myself, thought that we're going to go to Coruscant and we're going to get, Maul and Anakin maybe seeing each other, or, Ahsoka, I don't know, seeing someone raiding the temple. She doesn't know who it is. Maybe she would feel it's Anakin, but we know that doesn't happen until Rebels. Um, but we went a different direction, and it made me realize more that this is more so just seeing Ahsoka's journey and Maul's journey and Rex's journey through Order 66, because we've already got Anakin's, and it's cool that they didn't touch that because it's like they're preserving what Luke did. So I I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I thought the ending was just beautiful. You know, it was just sitting there. I didn't have anything to say, and I was just kind of absorbing what just happened. And I think that time jump was, how long do you think that was? Maybe 6 months.
Um, I mean, look, there's a bunch of clues in the time jump. I mean, number one, you don't know if those are clones or just regular stormtroopers, right? There's no indication. There's no clear cut indication about whether those are clones or stormtroopers, and that would have been a good indicator of
I'm
how
pretty
much
sure they're
time.
clones. I'm pretty sure they're clones.
Why do you say that?
Well, because the clones were still part of the Empire. They got dwindled out because of the accelerated aging, but they were still in there. And especially if this is before Rebels, then the clones are still part, they're still stormtroopers. It's just mixed in now. It's just very diluted.
But for me, I hear what you're saying. I don't know if that final scene supports that theory.
Okay.
Okay, because I think for me, the reason why I thought that final scene was so amazing, and I really did, I thought it was amazing, um, is that it's devoid of everything. It has. First of all, I think Ahsoka left the lightsaber there on purpose.
Yeah, so that, maybe Anakin would see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anakin, and I think at this point she already knows that Anakin is turned, but I think that she sees it
I don't think so. I
as.
don't think she knows. And
You don't think she knows?
if she does, she thinks something's wrong. She hopes he's okay. And she can't believe it.
But I think that she does know because everything else that Maul said was going to happen happened.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't this huge part of Maul's theory have happened? And if it didn't happen, why wouldn't she have tried to make contact with him? So I think she knows, and I think
She tried
that.
many times, but she couldn't.
What do you mean?
She couldn't get through to Anakin.
But not in the episode that we saw.
Well, no, she couldn't. She was busy, fighting for her life.
Right, right. But I still think that in that final scene, I think that she feels that everything that Maul said was going to happen happened.
Hmm.
Okay, and that includes Anakin turning to the dark side, and or more specifically, Anakin being the apprentice of this Darth Sidious. Now whether she knows the details or not, TBD. But I definitely think that she thinks that whatever Maul said was going on with Anakin was actually true. But just like Luke Skywalker, I believe that Ahsoka carries inside of herself the hope that Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker is redeemable, and no matter how dark Anakin gets, that there's always going to be good in him. So she leaves her saber there to say a bunch of different things. Number one, I'm still alive. Number two, maybe this will like jog your memory into remembering who you really are. Number three, she left a saber back because Anakin made it. And like to me, I love that scene at the end when Anakin turns it on,
Yeah.
you know? And then he looks up at the sky. And look, I'm not a crazy lore guy, but when he looks up at the sky, it looks like the bird from the Son of Mortis episode
Yeah.
chain
Yeah. It
or
is.
episode arc
Yeah.
of
Morai.
the light side,
Yeah.
the light side character.
Yeah.
I,
The
I forget
daughter.
her name.
The
Yeah, I
daughter.
forget her
Yeah.
name. But so as he's turning on the saber, he sees the light side bird or whatever you call it.
Morai.
Morai, the light side bird. Yeah, it's probably not very Star Trek lore to call it the light side bird, but you
Star
see the light,
Trek.
or Star Wars, but you see
Bro,
the
what? No! What'd you do?
but you see the bird up there.
No! How could you do this?
You see the bird up there, and then like to me that wraps up the whole thing.
Oh
Like,
god.
um, Ahsoka Tano is pure light side. She
Yeah.
is a
I
balanced light side character, and that's ultimately what the Clone Wars was about.
I think she let well, yeah, she saw the good in everyone no matter what. But I don't think she thinks Anakin is the evil guy yet. I think she just denies it, and maybe even if she knows it, she doesn't believe it.
I think she knows it. I think she knows. I think you're right that maybe she'll never believe that he's bad.
Chat's going crazy, dude. They're like, Star Trek, what? No, I can't believe how could you do this? Oh, that's so
Anyway,
funny. Rip.
it's been a long day at sea. If you guys can tell, look. First of all, it's been a very sad day. It's been a sad day for everybody here in Miami. Um, but
Right.
yeah. Anyway, um,
Overbound Game Studio says Corona out there, Clone Wars end is here. All simp walkers disrobing. When used to thinking Star Wars in a trouble. Star Wars is in trouble. We're good. We just got announced a new movie is going to be co-directed, co-written, and directed by Taika Waititi, who directed and wrote Thor Ragnarok, which is a great film.
yeah,
It's very entertaining, and also he directed I think one of the episodes of the Mando, and he's also the voice of IG
yeah. I mean,
11.
he directed the finale.
Yeah, yeah, he did a great
Which
job.
is
Yeah,
the best episode of the Mando. He directed the finale. But look, to be honest with you, man, like I have so much like Star Wars. It's funny, I almost said Star Trek again. Um, I have so much Star Wars announcement fatigue. It's like, didn't they just announce that somebody else is doing a movie like a few like right before this Corona stuff started,
I
where they
think so.
announced a
Yeah, I
writer or
feel like we got
something?
so many coming in, but we just don't know what they're about.
Yeah, we don't know what they're about, and it's just like these like press releases of these new acts. It's like it's gotten ridiculous, man. It's like white noise for me in the
Right.
background. It's like I don't even care. Last night, watching episode 4 of this 4 episode arc, that to me is what they should go in on. Like, imagine if the next series was
Well, I think it will be.
the young Darth Vader
Yeah.
becoming the true
Yeah,
like Sith.
that's where I think it's going, right? And I think that they hinted to that in that tweet where they're like, "Oh, just keep enjoying it, and we'll keep making more." So I think that's maybe where they're gonna go. I mean, they'd be kind of fools not to. But also, there's that whole belief
I
that
don't
like,
know,
oh,
man.
don't show too much Vader because then it'll get people get too used to him and it won't have the same effect, which I don't agree with.
That's never happened.
That's
That's
yeah.
never
That's
happened.
it's that doesn't make sense. I mean, look at Vader Immortal,
Yeah.
right? Which they had just announced, by the way, for all you PlayStation fans out there. It's coming to PlayStation VR now, so you guys will
Oh,
have a chance
nice.
to play it, which is it's a
It's
great
awesome.
experience. Yeah,
It's
one of the
awesome.
best stories they've made.
But yeah, dude, it's like enough with these announcements already. Like let's announce some stuff that matters. Like we're gonna expand on the amazing end that we
You
got
know
with the
what I think
Clone Wars, and we're gonna
something
go
we could do
deeper.
is Jedi Fallen Order 2 has announced that they're looking for writers. We should apply. I think we'd make a cool game, dude. I think we'd make a really cool story.
Dude, I think we'd make a great game, but let's make our own game. Okay, let's make our own game. Let's make our own fan fiction Star Wars game.
Okay.
It's easier than you think, you know. But I mean, like enough with these announcements, man. Like I love Taika Waititi. I think he's awesome. He did a great job with the Mandalorian season
Hmm.
finale. He did a great job with Thor
Yeah, he did a great job.
Ragnarok. Jojo Jojo Rabbit is one of the most charming movies I've seen in years. The guy is super talented. So great. He's going to direct a Star Wars movie. Great. What is it
Yeah.
about? You know, like how is it expanding the lore in a way that like, we want to see this mythology
Give us a
expanded. I
little
mean, like
something, you know?
last night the mythology was expanded in the way that we wanted it to be
Yeah.
expanded. Ahsoka Tano, and it's funny because after the episode ended, I actually went back and I watched the Clone Wars movie. I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't sit through the whole thing, but I wanted in particular to see how Anakin and Ahsoka meet and be reminded of how far the character has
Right.
come. Um, and it's truly amazing. It's truly amazing how far that character has come. And I
Did you
thought
like the
last
scene
night
with
really
the where she's holding the ship, just like Ray did? You
didn't love
didn't?
that scene. So it's like they did that a few times. They did that a few times, and I know somebody like called me out on Twitter and said, "Oh, because remember I said that Maul did that thing that Kylo did,
Yes.
where he was like reading the
Yeah.
mind or whatever, and you
Yeah.
talked about it too." Like they were like, "Oh, Kylo had done this before, or whatever,
Maul.
Maul had done this before." But Maul had done that after it had happened with Kylo, so it wasn't like it predated Kylo's. It was
Well,
post,
they
And
did
look,
it themselves. The Jedi did it themselves in the old Clone Wars, though. Remember?
right, but my point is that there is some um sort of fan servicey type things that are definitely geared towards us, the prequelists, and I don't complain about those. So it's a little hypocritical to then complain a little bit about the fan servicey stuff that's more geared towards the sequels. And like even some of the fan servicey scenes with the little poetry, the little echoes, even to Fallen not a Fallen Order, but to Jedi Unleashed or
Dude, those were
The Force Unleashed.
dope. Are you kidding? I
Oh
love
yeah, yeah,
those.
yeah. I'm saying that they're throwing those little fan service moments all around the yard. It's not
I don't
just
think the fan
limited
service. I
to the
think it's just like these
sequel.
are things that you can do. I mean, if you're strong in the Force, you can pull an object. Why can't you pull an object? If we, she can stop the ship from going. I, these little moments that fans, if they didn't know Fallen or if they didn't know Force Unleashed, they wouldn't know what that scene is. They would just think it's a cool scene. But those who are in tune with that know really what's going on. So I think that's cool. They're like giving a little nod, be like, "Hey, we respect you. We love you. Thank you for being part of this."
Yeah, yeah. Look,
I'm down
it's
with it.
the scene of Ahsoka falling towards the ship. I thought was incredible. Okay, I thought that was incredible. Her holding back the mall ship, um, to me, wasn't as incredible because, to the credit of the Rise of Skywalker, that whole scene is really all about her bursting with the lightning.
But
So
we've
the
also gotten
scene,
that in Force Unleashed, and we've also gotten that in Clone Wars when Maul did it himself. So really, they're just copying what Maul did.
right, right, and in Force Unleashed, there is some great scenes of him holding back the ships, and I
Took down a
actually
Star
like,
Destroyer. I mean, the guy
yeah,
was nuts.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, man, look, did it land perfectly? No, it didn't land with me perfectly.
Fair enough.
I like the fact that she picked saving Rex over fighting
Yeah.
Maul. To me that was like very telling of who she is as a character. And I love that line that Maul tells her, this is the chaos that you
Right.
wanted, you know, like you have the chaos you wanted. I thought that was
Well, he
brilliant.
just
I
she
think
just
it,
wanted to create a diversion with him, and I don't think she really wanted to fight Maul. I don't think she cared for that. Otherwise, she would have killed him when she freed him. I think she just wanted the ship, so her and Rex could get out of there.
Sure, sure. But she did, I think, have a responsibility. That sense of duty in Ahsoka is pretty strong. And I do think that she wanted to fulfill her duty of bringing Maul to justice. Like, if she could have her cake and eat it too, she would have chosen that. And I do think that there was a moment where she sees Maul running to the side of her and she thinks about it like, do I go take this guy out? And but she chose to save Rex, which I
Yeah, it was
thought was
cool.
great. um and like all the stuff with Jesse was great. I mean, look, the episode was absolutely amazing. These last four episodes have been incredible. you know did everything land with me? No. But most of it did, especially the ending. I thought the ending was absolutely gorgeous. It reminds me of Game of Thrones. The whole
No,
show.
don't say
uh
that, please.
from a storytelling perspective, it does. From like the way that they're using sound, the way that they're using music, the way that they're introducing new score. They've introduced this kind of Tron, like
Yeah, that
Blade
was really cool.
Runner
Yeah,
type
yeah,
of,
that was sick.
which they've done for the last four
Right.
episodes. They're taking a lot more time and care in constructing what in film school we used to call the mise en scène, which is the composition and camera movements are a lot more stylized, which is something that like you don't get in cartoons. And look, I thought they did a really good job with it, man. I thought they did a really good job with it.
What's going on with chat? Hey guys, just one question. If you played Fallen Order, do you think there's a chance that the planet the Venator crashes on could be Zepho? Oh, wow. That's very interesting. I didn't even
The
think of
what?
that. The Venator, the planet at the end. But it wasn't a planet. Zepho's not a moon, is it? I don't think so. Is Zepho a moon? No, it's not. I don't think. Yeah, no, it was evolved on the planet of the same. No, it's not a moon. That's no moon. So there was that. I mean, I don't know what the planet was. I think it's some unknown planet for now. Would you want them to redo the Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan fight in the new Kenobi show if we get it? No, I think it was great the way it was. I think that she has an idea but really doesn't want to believe it. It won't be till Rebels that she gets the confirmation. Thank you so much for your videos. Love them. Happy Star Wars Day and may the Force be with you. Hey, thanks, Janice. She figured out Anakin is Vader in Rebels, I'm sure. Yeah, she doesn't know until Rebels. She sees it in the ship and she goes crazy. I was watching your latest video and then boom, this pops up on my screen. Guess I'll finish the video. Go watch the breakdown.
She
Go watch
doesn't
the
she
breakdown.
doesn't connect that it's that Darth Vader and Anakin are the same
No, until she
person.
feels them.
but but I think that she knows the second she drops that saber that Anakin has like that Anakin is the
I disagree.
apprentice.
I think that she's dropping it because she knows she has to give up this life and she's got to go into seclusion like Obi-Wan and Yoda and go into exile like Cal Kestis, who they don't have these
Yeah, but she only
lightsabers.
drops one saber.
Yeah, I don't know
She
where
only
the other
drops
one
one.
is. I don't know what happened to it. So maybe she's leaving that as a sign that like, hey, we all went down to the ship and that she's dead too, to cover her tracks, or maybe the fact that she wants Anakin to see it if he does roll by. Who knows?
Hold on, but you think that she thinks that everything that Maul said happened except
I
for
don't think she
Anakin
thinks
being.
what Maul thinks happened. I don't know. I don't know. I think she hears it, but she denies it. She doesn't want to believe it. Just like Ashley said in the podcast.
Yeah, look, maybe she's in strong denial, but I think I read it that she definitely feels. I mean, look, she definitely feels that Anakin that something went wrong with Anakin. I mean, to me, that's how I
Yeah.
read it. That
Yeah,
it was
fair enough.
obvious,
Fair
and
enough.
that she was leaving her saber there as very specifically for
Yeah.
him.
But also, if you read any parts of the Ahsoka book, she's the whole story. She's in hiding, so she knows what she has to do, and she's gone into this seclusion, just like all the other Jedi have. Like Cal Kestis gets this regular job, he just gives up his lightsaber, blah blah blah, or at least hides it. Do we need to put the chat on slow mode? Nah, yeah, I kind of like it the way it is. She figured out Anakin is Vader in Rebels. Yep. Um, Anakin unrobed, disrobed. Hey, theory. There's a theory going around that it took place during season 2 when he senses her and right before they fight. That's an interesting theory. But still, at that point, there's still clones that are part of the Empire and the Stormtroopers, but we just don't know who's who really. What's the next animation show you want? Definitely Vader between episode 3, so after Clone Wars and before Rebels.
Yeah, I think that like what they set up
Yeah.
last night is would be
Basically,
incredible,
the Vader
and
fan
I
film animated.
and I love the art style that they gave
Yeah.
Vader. And I love that they gave Vader the red eyes from
Dude, he
New
looked great.
Hope. Yeah, he looked
Yeah.
awesome, and the
From
cape
from
looked
from Rogue One.
perfect. Yeah, the cape looked perfect. I mean, the whole thing was awesome.
By the way, guys, big sale on the site. Use the code May 4th. You can pick up some merch. Only thing they missed in episode 12 was derobing. You guys are going far with the derobe. Clone Commander Cody in The Mandalorian. Thoughts? Be interesting. How do you feel about season 7 as a whole? My favorite is definitely the last arc, probably forever. Cody's dude. If Cody would have even made it, he'd be capped because of the age acceleration. How do you feel about season 7 as a whole? My favorite is definitely the last arc, probably for everyone. Here, the Bad Batch was. That's another question. Is what happened to the Bad Batch?
Yeah, look, I mean, we talked about that last week, right? Like, what
Dude, if
happens to
they
those
execute
guys?
Order 66, they'd be unstoppable. Could you imagine?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a cool thread. I'm not sure what happened
Maybe
to those
Camino,
guys. I'm not sure
deemed
what
them
happened to those guys.
to, I don't know, unfit, and maybe like Clone 99. They just didn't put the chips in them, or they were like, yeah, we're not gonna waste our time with these guys. They're defective. Who
Yeah.
knows? Only thing they missed in episode 12 was derobing any. How do you feel about season 7 as a whole? Um, I really liked it. I think it was good. I thought there were some slower parts, but obviously it was just character building at that point. Mark, what do you think?
I thought that I thought it was great. I think that for me, the thing that I loved the most about it was, like I said, I mean, they really took the production value to the next
Yeah,
level. And if you look at um, how the directing of the episodes evolved, how the music selection evolved, how the animation style evolved, the graphic style evolved, I think all of it was
yeah,
spectacular. It was top notch, and you can tell that like Dave Filoni and those guys. Like if you go back and you watch the Clone Wars movie or even the first few seasons, all of these animation things are like much more crude,
right,
um, and you can tell that like this is like the realized full potential of the original vision. Um, and I saw an interview with Dave Filoni that he gave to Entertainment Tonight, and he said that he hasn't spoken to George Lucas in quite some time. So it wasn't that like George was intimately involved in this last season or anything like that. But I think that when Lucas is watching this, he also could look and see, okay, this is the fully realized potential of this operational battle
right,
station. This is what the
right.
intention was, and I think they did a great job. Look, do I wish that they would have given us the equivalent of the Darth Vader scene for Obi Wan? Absolutely. Obi Wan somehow on Tatooine, or Obi-Wan flying in a ship heading towards Tatooine. But I think it ended
That'd be
perfectly.
cool.
But
Yeah, but I know
you
what you
know,
mean.
like,
I also like the fact that it doesn't do that in the sense that you kind of know what's happening without seeing what's happening.
right. But if you look at the Clone Wars as a standalone thing, okay, the Clone Wars is definitely, Anakin, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, right? It's the show of the apprentices. It's like the master and apprentice relationship in three kind of tiers. And you definitely get resolutions, really intense ones for Ahsoka and Anakin. You don't really get it for Obi-Wan. You never really see Obi-Wan other than his like Obi Sim Kenobi sort of like finale where he's like, the ragging on his girlfriend,
Right.
from Mandalore. You don't really get that last little beautiful button with Obi-Wan. Like even Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship has that great scene very similar to Revenge of the Sith, where he's like, may the force be with you, and like, oh master, I've disappointed you. You're the
Yeah,
wisest
yeah.
Jedi. You're much wiser than me. Like that moment happened with Ahsoka and Anakin. When they say
Yeah, she's like, "Good
goodbye,
luck,"
even though
and he's like, "Yeah," and he just like nods at her. Yeah,
yeah, and that that's their goodbye.
yeah,
Like I, my only kind of little bit of regret is like, okay, we didn't really get that little button for Obi-Wan when he was such a big part of the
yeah.
show.
Well, I know. Yeah, for the show we didn't get it, but we got it in Revenge of the Sith, I guess. So that's I understand what they were trying to do there with keeping it separate. Only thing they missed in episode 12 was the derobing once again. We got to get Sam Witwer back on the show now that Clone Wars is over. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Janice, thanks for the $50. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. How do you feel about episode 7 as a whole? My favorite is definitely the last arc. The middle arc could have been 2 episodes, though I do understand why it was done. Yeah, with Trace and Rafa, the sisters. Yeah, that could have been 2 episodes. That's for sure. Yeah, I feel like that one was a little bit dragged on, but I mean, whatever. Character development, I guess we could call it that. What's the next animation show you want? The Clone Commander Cody. May the Fourth be with you. I saw the new Mando doc on Disney Plus. I haven't watched that yet, and I feel like they shouldn't have released it the same time as Clone Wars. But my favorite is definitely um, the fact that Disney has a solid team on directors for the Mando and do not utilize all their unlimited power for the movie side of the franchise is baffling to me. Right, there's a big difference between Mando cast and crew versus I feel like the sequel trilogy. But I don't want to get into the sequels again because I feel like we've done 3, 4 episodes on that, right, Mark? Hope there is a Vader movie or the continue of your Vader web series. Yeah, that'd be nice. Jedi Knight and Aliro, thank you. Brock, thank you. Harry, Fallen Order, but Clone Wars, Ahsoka, plus Maul in a free roam. That'd be cool. Vader's visor was red in the last episode, so some time has passed for sure. How do you think that Rex knew to call him Sidious and not Palpatine? Check my video I released yesterday about that. I think it was just a chip implant. I think they just knew. Or they had pretty much cracked down that.
Yeah. There, in that interview with Filoni, he talks about that. And it's very interesting. Where he says that in the final season they were being very careful about who knew that he was Sidious and who didn't know that Sidious was around. And he said that there's very limited characters that knew who Sidious was. Um, and you know, I um, I like the fact that Sidious is the Phantom Menace, and he is part of the undertone of this sort of sinister takedown of the Republic throughout the entire time. And it all sort of happens in one
Yeah.
moment where everything that he was carefully plotting sort of reveals itself. And to your point, I think you might be right. I think that the Sidious thing might be part of the chip. It might be part of the
Yeah.
implant. It might be something that just gets
Yeah.
turned on, because the way that Filoni talks about it, maybe Dooku might be the only one who truly knew what was
Yeah.
going on. And maybe he didn't even have all the details.
No.
Like for example, he didn't know that he was planning on grooming Anakin. So um,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
in
I'm
the
not sure.
book, he knew that he wanted Anakin to turn because he wanted him to test him and he wanted him to bring him into the war. And he's like, just test him, and let him arrest you, and then he can take you in, and you don't have to play the villain anymore. And he's like, oh, it's gonna be so great to not play the bad guy for once.
Yeah, look again. Like for me, it's like you know the books. It's tough for me to like because I haven't read them. Um, for me, it's like the movies, the TV shows, um, are really like kind of like the storyline that I'm really trying to follow into. And even the sequels, I mean, I barely consider the sequels
Hmm.
canon. Like at least in my own like
Hmm.
headspace. And the books to me are even further removed. It's like what kind of canon stuff is talked about in the Canto Bite book.
Right.
Um, have you ever read that one?
No.
We should do a read along of the Canto Bite book. We should see how many people join the live chat for that.
No, I'm not too interested in that. That's why I don't
No,
even
no,
read
no.
those
Of course,
books because
yeah.
it's great for the people who are interested, but yeah, I don't have an interest.
Was the Canto Bite book like a teenage novel thing? Because I know that there's some of the books are like geared towards like young adults. Was the Canto Bite
I'm
book
not
one of
sure, bro.
those?
I
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
I
don't know. I don't have interest in some of those books, and not everything with Star Wars logo on it is something that I'm crazy about. But that's why I pick and choose, which is fine. It's fine. You don't have to, you know, buy everything that has Star Wars on it to be called a Star Wars fan. You just have to enjoy what you like, and that's cool. I feel like a lot of
oh,
people feel like you
absolutely.
gotta like just love everything, and it's like no, you don't.
No, not. I mean, that's obviously not the case
No,
with me.
yeah, both of us. That's we like what we like about Star Wars, which is like the George Lucas stuff and um, the movies and the shows and this and that, and some of the books and all that about the characters that are the main characters that we really care about. Otherwise, everything else is cool. It's nice that they make that for the people who are interested in it, but alas, I am not too interested in some of the things. Um, will you do more fan fictions? Yeah, I will. Definitely want to do like what if Maul went to Coruscant? What if Maul? What if Anakin went to Mandalore? I think that would be a really interesting one. Jesse says, "Rest in peace, me, dude." Can we get an F in the chat for Jesse right now, everyone? Leo's Lothcat says, "Rest in peace, Clone Wars." I don't think it's rest in peace. I think they're gonna go back and they're gonna make maybe Son of Dathomir. That'd be really cool. Shadow Cobra says Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters of all time. The new season was decent. I loved the final 4 episodes, but a bit disappointed that we didn't see any of Grievous, Ventress, or Dooku. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, it's like they drew Grievous and he looked amazing, but we didn't get to see him move. So I don't know, Mark. How'd you feel about that?
Look, to me, in literature, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of the foil. And to me, Asajj Ventress is like my favorite character in all of
Yeah,
Clone Wars. She is by far my favorite character. Um, of the new ones, even though she's introduced in the earlier Clone Wars animated series, like the 4 episode little animation from the Kung Fu guy. That's the first time you see her, and she was originally supposed to be in Attack of the
right.
Clones. So Asajj is a character that's been around, so she wasn't really born out of the Clone Wars like Ahsoka
Mm-hmm.
was. But to me, it's like she's, the Force always brings balance, the light to the dark. She's kind of like the dark side balance of Ahsoka. And I would have definitely have liked to have seen what happens to her, even though I was very fulfilled with her final arc, with her and the Night Sisters, with her and Obi Wan. and all that stuff that happens there. I was pretty satisfied with that. So I felt that the Asajj thing was kind of wrapped
Yeah,
up, you know? I know that she's like to your thing, she's in a book with Count Dooku, like Dark
or Jedi
Apprentice or
Lost.
something like
Dooku
that.
Jedi Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there's some kind of book with her where I heard it doesn't go too well for her in that book. But I've never read that book, so I have no idea what happens to her after the Clone Wars. But for me, the really unfulfilled thing with the Clone Wars is Obi-Wan. I really felt that they should have given Obi-Wan that sort of sunset moment.
Like in Revenge of the Sith, but you wanted it in Clone Wars.
Yeah, we get a sunset moment for Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. Um, it's like, ironically, it's not a sunset. It's like a Darth, Death Star
Yeah,
rising, right? It's being built out of the, like the scaffolding is in place. But to me, it would have been interesting to see something that we haven't seen of Obi-Wan, like maybe the last time we see Obi-Wan and Mustafar is when he like leaves, grabs the saber and leaves, right? Like talk about poetry, just like Darth Vader grabs Ahsoka's saber. You have Obi-Wan with Anakin's saber, and maybe he's in the ship or some little
yeah,
moment that shows the end of this friendship from a different point of
right.
view. Because one of the beautiful things that Clone War does is that it elaborates so heavily on the friendship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It really um, explains that moment to me where it was like it was you who fell into that nightmare master, and like all of these little adventures that they had off screen, you really got to see a bunch of those inside the Clone Wars. It would have been nice for Obi-Wan to say goodbye to that friendship in some
Yeah,
way.
it was you who fell into that nest of Gundocks. The book was
Yeah,
Dark Disciple that you were talking about
Dark
with
Disciple.
Quinlan
Yeah,
and Asajj, which could have been turned into a adaptation in the Clone Wars as well.
I've never read the book, but
Um, yeah, so she saves Quinlan by getting shocked by lightning by Dooku. So he like fully like ramps up the lightning and then she gets zapped. She jumps between it. Theory, Mark, may the fourth be with you. Thanks, Parth. A question for both Theory and Mark. What do you see the next in the animated series? What do you want to see next in the animated series? In Theory, can you do what if Obi-Wan left the Order for Satine? Sure, I could do that. What I'd like to see in an animated series is, dude, I keep saying it. I mean, that's why I'm spending all this money to make the Vader fan film, is because I want to see that so badly. Is Vader a young Vader? Right after Revenge of the Sith, and basically the comics, but in an animated show at the very least, if not in live action. So that's what I want. What about you?
look, we said what we want, and I'm totally with you, man. I want to see an animated series that picks up from that final scene of Clone Wars. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
want to see. Like, I rather almost see that. I mean, look, maybe not. It's just like I just feel like we're never gonna get the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan show. I know it's
What do you mean we're
coming.
never gonna get it?
Like I have a bad feeling about it, dude. I have a bad feeling about it. I got inside sources that said that they totally shut the whole thing down,
Why?
and that they're resetting it. They're resetting it.
For
You
what?
know, um,
What do
what
you
do you
mean they're
mean?
resetting it? What, like just redoing the whole script?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
they just
it's
took
still
everything and
happening.
threw it away. Yeah, it's still happening. Just like a Cassian Andor series is still happening.
Yeah.
It's like, is it still
Well,
happening?
the time hasn't come yet. It's a few years away.
And it's just like for months we had a Benioff and Weiss series. It's just like
They
with
would be
all these
crazy to
different.
cancel Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's not canceled. It's still happening. It's just gonna take some time, and I think
I'm not saying it's canceled. I'm saying that there is so much turmoil. Okay, there's so much fog of war around the Star Wars thing that the only things that can shine through the fog are the Mando and what Lucasfilm Animation is
Mm-hmm.
doing. Okay, it's like specifically when they're following the thread that George left
Mm-hmm.
behind. When they veer too far away from that thread with Star Wars, not Rebels, like what's the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Resistance. I mean, like Resistance was dead on arrival,
Right,
dude.
but
You
Resistance
know, and like
is like these books that maybe you or I wouldn't be too interested in, but some other people would be. And it's like for little kids and different audience, and it's cool. Like you give that spectrum of different people that can watch and enjoy it. I didn't hunt down Resistance. I don't have cable, and I also didn't track it down to really like. I searched on the internet, tried to get it, and said this is not available in your region because I'm in Canada, blah blah blah, and that was it. So after that, I was like, well, all right, fair enough. But I mean, if it was like a Revenge of the Sith spin-off or something like that, I would have definitely tracked that thing down to the nth degree. But yeah, I mean,
of course.
Resistance, it didn't really interest me. I'm not invested in Poe. I'm not, it's like, all right. The animation looked cool, but it wasn't something I really cared for.
Yeah, and it's just like my point is that there's a few things that can cut through the Star Wars fog of war right now. And I think that one of those things is what Dave Filoni's team is doing with the animation side. And if they can pull off, like if they can keep going, if people would give them the support to keep going, and if George was still there, forget George being there or not, but if Filoni was left to his own devices and the team was left to their own devices and they were able to still continue with their passion, like Pixar is able to continue down the thread that they want to go down, like of course they would make the Vader thing because that's where you left the story off. So when you leave a story off, storytelling is like they're chains. They're chains of events that interact with one another. And in the end of this chain of event, the choice that Dave Filoni made to end all of Clone Wars was a bit of um, a bit of a cliffhanger of Darth Vader looking at it, the saber that he made Ahsoka Tano, okay, left for him there because I'm convinced that she left it for him there, looking up at the sky, seeing the son of Mortis bird or whatever,
The
Moira, what
the
did you call the
daughter,
bird?
Morai.
Yeah, Morai, knowing that the light side is strong in whatever it is that he's interacting with right now, and there being a search for his apprentice. He's obviously out there to hunt the Jedi, and like that's his mission. And now he's got confirmation that one of the closest Jedi to him out of all of them is out there. Like that's an incredibly rich fertile grounds for storytelling, and that's what they would be
Yeah,
working on.
that'd be cool to see.
And it's just like I don't know if we're ever gonna get that. You know,
I'll make it. Screw
yeah,
it.
I can't wait to see
Yeah,
it.
if they won't, then I will. The
We could do the VR
the
version of it.
Thanos theme. I keep doing this. I'm like, God, I'm like Mike Tyson lately. Uh, it's terrible, man. But yeah, fine. I'll do it myself.
Re- Revenge of the
Revenge of
Fiend.
the Fifth. Revenge of the Fifth. God. Okay. Why do you think Vader didn't pull the ship at the end of Rogue One? Maybe a theory for some time. Oh man, I think
Say it
that
again.
ship was too big to pull. Why do you think Vader didn't pull the ship at the end of Rogue One? Maybe a theory. Well, my theory would be, and I'll make that into a video, sure. I mean, but I think because he didn't like the Death Star, he didn't give a crap about it. He's like, uh, uh, remember what was that line? He said, that, "Don't be so." What was it? Don't be so confident of this technological terror you've constructed. It is nothing in comparison to the Force. Something along those lines.
It is
It is
insignificant.
insignificant in comparison to the Force. And so he didn't care for machinery and weapons and things like that. He thought the Force was the end all be all, and he felt that it should be the most powerful thing, and it should be the thing that should be feared the most, not some technological weapon of destruction. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
he let it go.
Somebody in the chat reminded me like Revenge of the Fifth really is our day. Tomorrow's really our Star Wars
Right,
Day,
Revenge of the
Revenge of the
Fifth.
Fifth.
Hey, maybe tomorrow we should all do a watch along for episode 3. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that
I
could be
believe that
cool.
Ahsoka dropped the saber to go into hiding because Obi-Wan probably told her to. Maybe she lost the saber in the Venator. No, because she still had them when she was jumping out of the ship, so she still had them when she landed. They were hooked to her belt if you go back and watch. Rex and Rebels explains that all the clones were decommissioned shortly after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, there's some conflicting. Yeah, but he also said that he took his own inhibitor chip out with Gregor and Wolf. So, I mean, where's that story? I feel like they maybe changed some stuff up. So, I don't know. Could I? I mean, I don't see that happening because yeah, they decommissioned the creation of the clones, but the clones that were still alive and were fully, part of the Empire at that point, executing Order 66, I don't think they would have just killed them. It doesn't make sense. Could I list your channel as a channel that inspired me on my channel? Also, can I list your channel as a featured channel? Lastly, I want to recommend some channels while I'm getting started. Can I recommend your channel? Sure. Yeah, all right. I've been watching your videos for years. Star Wars Theory, you're awesome, and just want to show support. F for Jesse. F for Jesse, bro. Thanks, Zach. You think they'll ever JJA Star Trek? What? You think they'll ever JJ Abrams Star Trek? This is where someone goes back in time to stop Sidious or something similar? No, no more time travel. No more. Endgame killed it with that. I would be so shocked if Dave decides to make a Darth Vader story arc and hopefully halfway in the arc they're reintroduced Starkiller. I'm still crossing my fingers of him being canon again. Yeah, that'd be cool. But he'd be so OP, he would just kill everyone. Was it George said that Starkiller apparently was the embodiment? Was it supposed to be what Luke was supposed to be?
Well, a Star Killer was the original name of Luke
Yeah, like he
Skywalker.
was that level of power was what Luke could have become
Right,
if he
right.
didn't go to Octu. And
Yeah. Anyway, dude,
do you think Maul and Ahsoka?
don't get don't get me
Don't get me
started.
started. Do you think Maul and Ahsoka could have defeated Vader? No, I don't. We talked about that last night. Sith Temple in Twilight of the Apprentice. Awesome videos, man. Keep it up. Thanks, Phantom Skywalker. Do you think Maul and Ahsoka could have beaten Vader?
I think I'm of the opinion that Vader is not as strong as Anakin.
No, he's not as strong as Anakin's full potential, but he's stronger than Anakin in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes. Is
Later.
he as strong as Anakin though in Like,
Oh yeah.
that's why it's
Oh
like
yeah, dude. Are you kidding? Dude.
Clone Wars Anakin is a different type of Anakin. Clone Wars Anakin is a different type of Anakin. It's just the reality of it. It's just like when you look at like let's think about mythology, right? Let's think where all this stuff is born
Sure.
from. When you look at the mythology of Homer in the Odyssey, it's very different than the mythology you see on the Grecian urns and the paintings. The gods have
I
different
don't know what the hell you're
powers.
talking about right now.
Um, look, yeah, like Anakin in Revenge of the Sith ultimately isn't that powerful because Obi-Wan takes him out,
Yeah.
right? All it took was Obi-Wan to get higher
Yeah.
ground, right? To have a positional advantage for him to take out
Well, because he knew
um
Anakin would be
uh
arrogant and just
Anakin.
try to jump over it instead of just go to the level plane and then run up to him.
Right. But in Anakin in Clone Wars, standing over Obi-Wan, who's hiding behind, waiting for all the stuff to happen with the droids, is a very different power version of Anakin. It's not that they're not the same
I
level
still
of
think
power.
Vader in Return of the Jedi or Rogue One just would kill Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. So where Vader was limited physically, his mind excelled infinitely. So he had to make up for that by relearning how to use a lightsaber in all these different styles and forms. He had to accentuate his force abilities like crazy to make up for the fact that his body now sucks. And Sidious gave him all these crappy cybernetics that he should have really given him the top tier ones, but he just wanted him to suffer and to rise above it, which he did with the Force. So I mean, He'd be like Snoke from The Last Jedi, man. He would, I mean, except for dying like that, but he would just like thwart everyone away with the Force. Don't you think?
I mean, we don't really see that. We don't
No,
really
we
have
don't see that
evidence of
because
that.
the only time we see Vader really fighting is either Rogue One against some simps, or we see him fighting his son, which never really was trying to kill him ever.
Right, right. So we don't ever really see him
No,
fighting.
until Episode 2.
So so there's no evidence to back up what you're saying. Like I actually think that behind the scenes, the Emperor was incredibly disappointed
Yeah, of
in Darth
course. I
Vader.
mean, George even said that his limbs being cut off would severed so much of his midichlorians, so much of his connection to the Force.
Look, and when he fights Obi-Wan, a 75-year-old man who's been in the desert for like 40 years, like Obi-Wan gives up.
Right?
Obi-Wan gives up. He like stops. He stops fighting
Yeah, because he
back.
couldn't take it. In the book, it explains that he just could not believe how powerful Vader had become.
Okay, so look, you're going back to the books. Like I never read the A New Hope novelization, even though there's a really interesting story about that New Hope novelization. Is that what you're referring
Yeah.
to? Does it actually talk about that he can't believe how strong he's
Yeah, I made
become?
a video about it. He's like he couldn't believe how much rage was coming out of Vader and how his cybernetics were so powerful.
I mean, I always thought that he gives up the fight and doesn't even really try to win because all the training that he had done with Qui-Gon through the years, which was the last mission that Yoda gives him, was to be able to manipulate or teach, be the ultimate master to a new apprentice from the other side
Yeah,
of
that's correct.
life.
But
You know,
physically, he was no match for Vader at that point. But force-wise, yeah.
sure, he was no match for Vader, but that doesn't negate the fact that he gives up. That he lets
I
Vader
don't think he
kill him.
gives up. He was just waiting for the right moment for Luke to see. And once he saw Luke was watching, he was like, "Okay, now's the time."
Right, but the point is, he stops fighting. Does he stop fighting? Yes or
Well,
no?
yeah.
Yeah, he stops fighting. He doesn't. He no longer has. He no longer gives off any resistance, even though, like in that movie, they're just like
Right.
doing the
Right.
tap. Um, Even though you've seen that scene 38 thing reimagined,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Why you don't like
Yeah,
that
it's cool.
one? Because you gave it a weird face, like you don't
Well,
like
yeah,
it.
they just make Obi-Wan look like a sucker in it, but yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Why? Because he gets his butt
Yeah,
whooped,
Obi-Wan
or
isn't that far off from Vader, I mean, but yeah, it was cool.
yeah. So anyway, dude, my point is that like
It's just a
Vader,
fight scene, dude. Like there was no story in it. It was a cool fight scene, but I don't think he
yeah,
was
yeah,
true
yeah, it's well done.
to Kenobi. That's He made him look like a little
A little
yeah,
simp.
a little simp. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that Vader, you know, Vader's never really tested
Yeah.
in the movies. He never really gets super tested. And I can see the Emperor wanting his son to become his apprentice and defeat this robotic man because ultimately the misinterpretation of the prophecy was that Anakin was supposed to be this all powerful Jedi, but in reality, all he really was the ability to switch from being evil to being good, and that's ultimately what his real power was to be able to leave the evil behind and embrace the good again.
Okay.
His power wasn't that he was the baddest ass Jedi. That he had that potential as Anakin, but I think that potential became very blurry when he lost all his limbs.
Well, yeah, and another thing that left him, besides his limbs, was the power to see into the future. That left him that day too.
Mm. Interesting.
which was like his number one force power apparently.
Was like future
Yeah,
visions.
I remember all those dreams he had about his mother dying and then Padme, which I still question if Palpatine planted those in his mind or not, but that was his
Yeah.
destiny, was to become Darth Vader. Maybe they'll animate the story arc with Boba Fett and Cad Bane. That's cool. Yeah, Cad Bane was supposed to die by Boba. Did Shock T survive Order 66? Bro, she dies like 5 million times. We only saw her die in Yoda's vision at the end of the season 6. It would be cool if she survived and went to Felucia. So she died in the book, and she died in a deleted scene for Revenge of the. She died in two deleted scenes of Revenge of the Sith, as well. So they want her dead. I just don't think they could figure out how they want to kill her. Like,
Which actually they call back to in this
yeah, which
last
was cool.
episode of
Yeah,
Ahsoka cutting the
yeah,
circle.
yeah. So,
That scene was great. That scene was great of like the platforms going
yeah.
up and down and stuff. All that stuff
Hey
was
man, is
great.
Vader 2 still happening? Yeah, it's just on hold because of everything going on, so it's majorly delayed, and I'll have to go into detail on everything because a lot of things have changed now. Lando C says, now that Clone Wars is over, I'd love to see Darth Maul unleashed in Solo 2 with Taika directing. That'd be cool. I'd love to see Solo 2. What do you think about possibility of new Clone Wars arcs? Yeah, that's where they should go. I mean, look how popular it is now. And George always said that Clone Wars would be the best on a streaming service, and look at it. It's now on one of the biggest streaming services in the world. So they should keep making Clone Wars episodes. What would be better, a cameo in The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, or Ahsoka? Ahsoka. Yeah, I want to see Ahsoka.
I mean, Ahsoka's
Yeah, I want
confirmed.
to see that in the Mando. So, which comes out in October. So, excited for that.
She's confirmed for
Do you
that,
think Rex will find
right?
out Anakin is Vader? I don't know, because I didn't watch all the Rebels. I don't think he ever finds out, does he?
I've seen a lot of Rebels.
There's
It's
some
just that
Legends
it's
comics
not
and
like
stuff,
a.
but there's no canon. What is the new Star Wars movie? Xander, you must be late, my man. We don't know what it is. We just know it's directed and co-written by Taika Waititi. Waititi. What's the new movie? Just answered it. Dave Filoni's E.T. interview. If y'all got time, can you update us on Vader Episode 2 and the casting? Do you think they will do a series on them trying to find Ezra after the Clone Wars series, or they could do a High Republic series? Would be better if they did Old Republic era content. Been waiting. Yeah, if they did Old Republic, that's what we want. High Republic could be cool too. I don't know what we can expect, but right now it doesn't sound too interesting. I mean, there's no Sith, and there's just space Vikings. I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, man.
Sorry.
Um, did you see what Sam Witwer said about the sequels? I did. I saw that tweet, and I think a lot of it got misinterpreted, but I agree. I agree
What did
with
he
him
say that
fully.
Ryan Johnson didn't do his
He
homework?
never said that, but he. Uh, let's not go on that topic. You guys can check the tweets yourselves by him and some other dude. Only way to put the sequels finally to
We
rest is
can
to have Ryan Johnson on Rule of Two make up a list of questions and leave none unanswered.
we can
Ryan has time.
we can talk we can talk about the Sam Witwer stuff on Call of Duty later.
Yeah, yeah, gaming channel. Fallen. By the way, we also did a May 4th. I did a May 4th stream on the Minecraft server on the gaming channel. It was really beautiful. We all chilled out, listened to Star Wars music, and looked at the binary suns.
That's
Yeah, it was
cool,
really
man.
nice.
That's
Everyone's on
really cool.
lockdown. It was just cool. There's so many people around. It was very very surreal.
It's amazing how much cool stuff they've built on that server, man. It's just absolutely
Yeah.
amazing, dude. Like you sh- I saw a little bit of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and
So
it was
we
just
we
like
well they rebuilt the whole temple now, and it's phenomenal, dude. It's insane. Do you guys want to see some of the Jedi Temple right now? We can show you. If you do type 1, it's ridiculous. There's like a whole holocron room and everything. It's nuts. It's the new one that they built. It's huge. The first arc was entertaining. The second arc was boring. The last arc, I enjoyed every second of it. Everything from Ahsoka's point of view to the last scene with Ahsoka and Rex, and then to Darth Vader. Exceptional. Yeah. In Rebels, Vader tells Ahsoka that it was foretold that they would meet at the temple on Malachor. Do you think Palpatine saw it after seeing the lightsaber? Maybe. I feel Rebels is a sequel to Clone Wars. It is. It is a sequel. A lot of you want to see the temple. Okay, you guys, don't think it's lame because it's Minecraft. This is a lot of really talented builders went into this, and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So let's roll it, and let's get rid of this. Let's do a little editing here. Mark, check the screen, man. You're gonna be blown away by this too. So let's move that. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me, guys. Let's check this out. Okay. So here's the old temple. I'm gonna show you guys the new one right now. Check this out.
There's a really
interesting
interview with George Lucas
where he breaks down
what Darth Vader
meant to him.
Yeah.
where he calls him the tragic villain.
the tragic villain.
Have you seen that one?
Have you seen that
No.
one?
You want to tell me about it?
Yeah,
Or
I
show them
Yeah,
something?
you should check it out, man. You should check it out.
You should check it out. Like
The idea of the tragic villain,
tragic
you know, where
villain,
it's like,
where it's like
yeah, it's just really interesting.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
want
just
to
really
spoil it
interesting.
because
I don't
it's
wanna
like
spoil it
George
because it's like
talking.
George
No, no.
talking.
Tell me about it a little bit.
It's just the idea that
It's just the idea that like
Darth Vader,
like
even in his villainy, he fails.
villainy, he fails.
You know what I mean? Like there's
You know what I
something
mean? Like there's something
about Vader that was always built on somebody else's rules. You know, like when he was growing up, he was a slave, right? Watto was in control, right? Watto was pulling the strings. When he matured a little bit, it was Obi-Wan pulling the strings. You know, once he became a powerful being, then it was the Emperor manipulating the strings. You know, that he was never really able to sort of think for himself and become his own person until this love for his son made him fulfill his destiny, which was to kill the emperor.
Right.
Anyway, it's really interesting, and it's like it shows you like the depth of this George Lucas's dude's brain. It's phenomenal. But this looks great,
Dude.
man. What is this that we're looking
So
at?
this is my Minecraft server, and it's free to everyone. Everyone can come in here, and it's a massive server. We got 20 gigabytes of RAM running this, so we can get like so many people joining. I think there are a lot of people that are joining in right now, actually. Yeah, just because I hopped on here. I'm trying to find the holocron room. I think it's on the second floor, so I'm just gonna fly up there. It's breathtaking.
And like I don't know anything about Minecraft. Like how do people build these things? Like how do
They're
you
just amazing
organize the
builders,
build of
man.
something like this?
We all just get together, and I'm a crappy builder, but I kind of just say what I want, and they go ahead and they build these amazing things, dude. And there's things like world edit and all this and that, but like look at this, like this This is like a 1-to-1 scale of the Jedi Temple with like rooms, and it's just it's crazy what they've done.
Yeah, it's really cool, man.
You should see the Death Star. You should see everything that they've built. We've got Vader's castle. I mean, it's next level what these guys are doing.
And like right now, are you flying through it like with
I'm just walking.
like a dev cam
I'm just
or?
walking through. Yeah, I'm just walking through different floors of the temple. And so I'm trying to find the holocron room, but I don't know exactly where it is. I'll show you Mandalore. Type 1 if you guys want to see Mandalore. It is insane. So here are all the people who have contributed and built the temple here. All these people here. They've put so many hours into this. So I'm gonna show you Mandalore. Check this out. So we got the Siege of Mandalore here that's been recreated. We got Maul, Gar Saxon, Rook Cast. And if we go behind it, we actually get to that famous scene where Maul and Ahsoka fought. Where's the door to it? I forgot. Thanks. Someone changed the doors around here. That's pretty cool there. You got like the fountain, and it's next level what these guys have done. So yeah, that's the Minecraft server. You guys can go check it out. I'll show you Coruscant before we go.
This is where the duel happens.
Yeah. Just look at all these buildings. It's taking a while to load because there's a lot of people in here now, but it's pretty incredible. Like, I never gave Minecraft much thought. I was like, you know, whatever. But like, I didn't know you could build. Oh, okay, this is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. The Venator. The Venator, dude. If it loads, it is so huge that it takes forever to load. So people built this. They built this for hours and hours, and there's an interior too, with all these different rooms and docking bay and everything. So, showing love to my people, man. Just gonna let it load.
What, this is the Venator
Yeah.
right here? Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's too many people in the server now. That's why it's lagging out. But yeah, we can even go inside. We can go in. And we got like a docking
And is
bay.
there a game? Is there a game to this, or is just like building? Building is the game. It's
So
like
there's
Legos.
a game to it, yeah, but right now we're just in creative mode. And we have a May 4th event today, actually. So they've been. I asked them to build the setting on Naboo where Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul fight. The plasma
Oh,
reactor
nice.
chamber, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
they
yeah.
call it. So, if you go in here, you can actually see this is where. Yeah, there you go. There's Qui-Gon and Maul fighting. And that's where Maul dies.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Those are the doors, and Obi-Wan's like still stuck waiting.
So your crew is building this right now?
Yeah, 24/7. There are people on the server just building stuff, and yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So.
But is there a blueprint for it,
Nope.
or is it all like
No,
improvised?
improvised,
Or
dude. All improvised. These are just really talented builders. A lot of them are just like
that's
kids and
awesome.
stuff, you know?
That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
So let me bring this back to normal here. There we go. Yeah. So, not to digress too far there, but
That's awesome,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's cool.
Congratulations to the guys
Yeah,
and the
they've done a
team.
really great job.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Really, really
Yeah,
well
and we're
done.
gonna go on and make other stuff too. Like, it's not limited to Star Wars. We'll do like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet.
Cool, cool. Maybe one day I can get you to play
Maybe
Galaxies.
one day. God. I told you it would come to this. The Sims are taking out. Yes, Italian, Italian. Yeah. Do me a favor and say Edith. Edith. Edith.
Edith?
Oh, with my Stark glasses, right. For Revenge of the Fifth, let's watch Revenge of the Sith together and do another Minecraft community build. Today was so much fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Allison. God bless for fixing that echo. Love the content. Did you guys notice the daughter in the final scene flying around above Vader? I think it proves something has passed. Some time has passed. Yeah, it definitely does, including the snow. You didn't watch my breakdown, did you? Would you like to see a show in the Galaxy of Adventures, animation style? Also, have you seen the Star Wars anime edits by Scoundrel Media? Worth a watch. No, I haven't. Mace Windex, what up, buddy? Best work art I've seen. What's your guys' opinion on the... You okay? Is
The
that
what?
chat? What's your guys' opinion on the
No, no, no.
confirmed Leslie Headland's
It's-
new series? You know nothing about it. We know nothing about it, dude. It's the
About what?
Leslie Headland series. What's your guys' opinion on it?
Oh yeah, we know nothing. It's another announcement.
Yeah.
It's like they carpet bomb these announcements. It's ridiculous, man. It's
I don't know
absolutely
what's going on.
ridiculous.
It's like, what? Tell us
Yeah.
what it's about, you know? What do you think Disney... Why do you think Disney isn't open to voicing over Rosario Dawson, even though they did for Maul and Solo? How do you feel about her calling Ahsoka Ashoka? Oh, well, look, man. I mean, a lot of these actors or actresses that get these roles aren't, particularly major Star Wars fans or whatever. They just, they try out for a role. They're actors. That's what they do. They get these jobs, and, it's the director's job to make sure that they understand these characters. So, or vice versa, where, the actors are fans, like Mark Hamill, and they try to make the director understand the character. So, yeah, I'm not surprised if, like Daisy Ridley doesn't really know much about Star Wars. If you've seen interviews with her, she doesn't really understand. She's just an actress. And that's fine. You can't expect them to know about it. It's like when we had Joe Hahn on the show, so many people were irate that he didn't know this and that about Star Wars. It's like the guy is like a musician, He's like a DJ for one of the most famous bands in history for Linkin Park, and it's like, why would he know all that? The first arc was entertaining, the second arc was boring, and the last arc, I enjoyed every second of it. Happy May the 4th, exquisite build. The only word to describe the builders is amazing. Never seen anything like that. Yeah, they did a great job. Sebastian, you get a chance to check out Fallen Order's new update. Best May 4th ever. Clone Wars was fire. May the Force be with you. We lost Mark, dude. Fallen Order has a new update? No, I didn't notice. Thanks for the stream last night for Clone Wars. Glad you enjoyed it, man. He has returned, my boy.
My boy.
So what do you think, man? Should we go? Should we talk about anything else? Or should we go play some COD?
Yeah, look, I think all in all, I've been a huge Clone Wars fan from the first episode I ever saw of Clone Wars. Um, I'm not one of these folks that thinks that the first season wasn't good. I thought the first season was great. I pretty much have loved all the Clone Wars. I even like the Jar Jar episodes. There's one thread where there was like a big droid episode. I didn't love.
That was apparently George's
Um,
favorite.
what the droid episode?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
true? That's so funny. Have you actually heard that
Yeah,
somewhere?
he said it.
Like from a
Yeah, he
reputable,
said it himself in an interview. He said that was his favorite.
the one with all the
The
droids?
droids in like the abyss.
First of all,
He
that's
said it
awesome
was.
because
He
that's
said
like
it
the
was
whole,
basically like Star Wars and THX, and something else, in this like
that's
purgatory,
funny.
and they're trying to figure out if they're like these, if they're actually cognitive beings, like, or they're just droids.
You know what, man? That's what I'm gonna watch tonight. That's what I'm gonna watch tonight to celebrate May the 4th in this kind of weird day with Don Shula's passing. Rest in peace. I'm gonna watch George's favorite Clone Wars, which is that
The
droid
droid
episode.
episode.
Which is a little strange, that episode. It's a little strange, that episode. But man, I thought it was a really satisfying conclusion to Clone Wars. I thought the last 4 episodes were great. I thought the Bad Batch was
Yeah.
great. I didn't love the Trace thread, but it is what it is. I do think that we might get a Vader a Vader animation
That'd be
series.
really cool.
I really
Yeah.
do. I really
That'd
do.
be really cool. It'd be a shame if they just made that model and rigged him and then just never use him again.
What a badass
Yeah,
model,
it's cool.
dude.
And him holding the
Badass.
blue lightsaber
Just
was really sweet.
and looking up at
At
the
Morai.
Morai.
Morai, yeah.
Morai.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Now that Clone Wars is over, do you like Clone Wars or Rebels more? Well, I haven't watched all of Rebels, so I got to go and do that. Mark, what would you say, Clone Wars or Rebels?
Oh, I love Clone Wars. Rebels, I like season 3. I'm a big fan of season 3.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's Clone Wars all day.
All I know is that it will be a female-centric series, plus she said some controversial things. I got a bad feeling about this. Well, I hope it'll be great. What do you think, Mark?
I mean, look, man, you know what I think.
You like the Russian doll?
You know-
I don't know what that's about.
Russian Dolls is brilliant. Russian Dolls is absolutely brilliant.
Is it action or
in
what?
Russian,
I've never seen it.
no. It's kind of like it's a Groundhog Day. Have you ever seen Groundhog Day? It's basically
Oh,
Groundhog
right.
Day.
Yeah, you mentioned
It's
something.
like-
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the same thing keeps happening to her again and again and again and
Okay.
again. Like she keeps repeating the same night over and over
Okay.
again. And she ends up dying every time. I mean, it's great.
Right.
You know, it's absolutely great. It's funny. The actor who plays the lead role, she's fantastic. It's absolutely great. You know, but
So it's like Death Day.
it's like Star Wars is about family. Star Wars is about redemption. It's about good and evil. It's about growing up. Star Wars is ultimately about growing up and about how the family helps each other grow. So when you say I'm gonna make a female centric like Star Wars, like that has nothing to do with Star Wars. Star Wars is not focused on gender. It's focused on growth and morality and understanding how to deal with the world and choices. So to me, like it misses the boat completely when you make an announcement about this thing that we treat like almost like a religion, and you say, "Hey, by the way, it's a female focused thing." Like, what does that even mean? Like to me, it's absolutely. I don't know, man. I think Star Wars is a really bad PR problem. They just don't know how to
Well,
communicate.
I've said it once, and I'll say it again: I don't care what gender the person is. I just want it to be a good story. That's all. You know, look at Ahsoka.
Yes.
If they center around Ahsoka, man, that'd be so cool. You know, but it's yeah, if it's gonna be like Ray or whatever, where it's just this aimbot, like no, it's that's not fun. And if it was a guy that was an aimbot, it wouldn't be fun. It doesn't have to do with.
It would.
I don't care if it's man or woman or alien. I just want it to be dope. That's it.
Yeah. I'm with
Like
you
I
on
don't,
that. I'm with
you
you on
know.
that.
So
Yeah.
I like that they're trying to bring more women into Star Wars and all that stuff and empower the ladies because yeah, for the most part, it's the men have been the centric characters. I understand that in the prequels and the originals, but also that is mainly because the story was built from the perspective of a man, and the fan base of Star Wars has always been it's been like over 90. What is it like 95% Bob Iger said male or something like that, which is funny. My analytics show the same thing. I think I actually have I think I have like 9% female that watch this channel, which is it's big, yeah, but
Really?
it still goes to show
First of all,
91%
I'm
male.
shocked. I'm shocked by those stats.
Why?
Obviously, I'm being
Oh,
sarcastic.
yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, I don't care, dude. I don't care what it is. I just make it a cool story, and that doesn't mean we can't have cool male characters in there either. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, I just want Luke to be cool and badass, and we got Anakin, and he's my favorite character. So, and we got Vader, and he's my favorite character. So, I mean, cool, yeah. Let's give the ladies some cool
Yeah.
characters too. But to go out and say, it's going to be a female centric, I wonder if that means it's going to be like a Ray aimbot, or is it going to be, like a story that covers a female's point of view? Because then that would be cool. But the aimbot thing, eh.
Yeah. Look, hopefully, once all this Corona stuff goes away and production can resume in a normal fashion, there will be certain announcements made at the controlling figures of Lucasfilm will be shifted around, and a new, um, you know, apprentice will be named, and things will get a little bit better because some things need to be
What would you do
fixed
if I just
in
never
Star
told
Wars.
you and then one day on the news you found out that Star Wars Theory YouTuber is set to helm a new Star Wars film as a writer and director?
First of all, that will never happen because
Oh,
even
God.
even if they told you, we will let you helm Star Wars, but the only thing that you have to promise is that you don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
If you don't tell anybody, you will be the head of the new Star Wars. You would not be able to resist the
Ah, I wouldn't
temptation.
tell a soul.
The dark side is too, the draw of the dark side
I
is too
wouldn't tell
strong.
anybody, man.
You wouldn't
Wouldn't
tell
tell anybody.
anybody?
Nope.
Not even your
I wouldn't tell
dog?
my dog. I'd pretend it doesn't exist. But yeah, we all know that
All
wouldn't
right, well,
happen, but a man can dream,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
A man can dream. You skipped my previous super chat. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry, John. What
Anakin the aimbots are taking over. That's funny. All right, dude. Look, we've been going for 82 minutes. It's a Star Wars special. It's May the 4th, so I'm totally cool with it. Is there any more
I gotta
super
find
chats in
John's
there?
that I missed. I gotta find John's. Can't leave. Ah, there we go. I finished editing it into a single movie. It's called the Clone Wars epilogue movie. Loading. Dude, I'm not. I don't want to see this. I'm fine. I don't like when people super chat and try to whatever. Kylo and Mustafar deleted scene on Disney Plus. What? No way. There's no way.
What on
I'm
Disney
checking. I'm
Plus is
checking
a
right now.
what a Rise of
I'm
Skywalker
checking
deleted
right now.
scene?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No, it's not. You lie. You lie. Kylo and Mustafar deleted scene on Disney Plus. No, I wish, dude. Don't get my hopes up like that. Okay, Mark, let's go game a little bit. Let's go play some COD. Gaming channel, boys. Oh, dude,
My boy.
it's not in the it's not linked in the description, but there is a link in the description. Mark, you want to talk about it?
Oh yeah. So we did a couple of funny videos last year with George Lucas. The great Josh Robert Thompson played George. Two of those videos were nominated for Webbies. We put the description down in the description down below. There's two links to vote for us to win that Webby. That would mean a lot to me if you guys would go over there and vote for us to win the Webby and win one for the good guys. You know, we I love George Lucas. He's my hero, and I feel like even though it's comedy, we gave George Lucas some teeth against against the mouse, you know, and against Disney in a positive way. I think to show that we all love Star Wars, and um, for a long time, I think the fandom was down on George, you know, and to me, George deserves the best. And we did this comedy series for George, and it got nominated. Two of them got nominated for Webbies. So if you can go out there and vote, that would mean a lot.
Where's this freaking Mustafar scene, dude? And they Jalma, sorry, I butchered your name. You didn't see my shout out. I did. You upgraded your membership. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I got a game with you guys all in a private thing soon. I really hope that guy wasn't trolling when he sent that super chat. I mean, he sent. Oh well.
Hold on,
I'll try to find it. Anyways, if it's up there, you guys will see it, and if not, no, I guess not. Mark, let's go play some COD, buddy. You ready?
Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing new.
No. I type in Mustafar deleted scene, and all I get are my own videos.
Right.
Oh god.
All right, cool. Well, look, man. May the force be with you all.
Be with you all, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next stream. See you in the next video tomorrow, and on the gaming channel. Catch you guys later. But before we leave, rise, my friends.
My boy.